Our motivation is an animating force which drives our engagement with the world. This makes it obviously an important thing. It underlies all our actions and our ability to accomplish what we intentionally set out to do. And when we lack motivation, we feel tired, we feel fatigued, we lose that internal spark, that sense of oomph, which propels us to make something of our days. And if we think about it, our motivation is very closely tied to our energy levels, which depends upon the health, the state of our bodies and our mind. And this is why I think the quality of our sleep is a very critical factor when we're thinking about our energy and our motivation. Sleep, it's the time when our bodies are resting, when we're restoring and replenishing the energy stores of our cells. It's when these cells they heal and the lessons of the day are integrated. Without sufficient high quality sleep, it becomes difficult to really maintain high energy levels and high motivation. And yet, many of us, we neglect the importance of sleep. The light from our cities, the light from our phones, our devices, they disrupt our sleep, they disrupt our circadian rhythms, and this leads to a lowered energy level during the day. And this can lead to depressed mood. And consequently, when we're thinking about how to raise our energy levels, to raise our sense of motivation, we need to start really thinking seriously about our sleep hygiene, reducing our screen time, for example, before bed, creating a kind of calm, dark sleep environment, a dark environment within the evening. And, you know, we can do these various environmental adjustments in order to create a consistent sleep schedule. And you'll notice as you get better sleep, you'll notice the improved quality of your moods. You'll notice the rise in your energy levels, and you'll notice. I mean, we all know when we get a poor night's sleep, and you feel groggy the day after. You don't feel really on it. Your reaction times are lower or higher rather. Your your ability to think quickly is diminished. It's everything. A lot of stuff does come down to our sleep, really. And the next kind of critical element, which I want to talk about with regards to our energy and our motivation, is calling attention to the food that we eat. And food, it's fuel for our bodies, and much of what is available and conventionally consumed in our modern food environment is packaged, processed bullshit. Basically, it's full of additives and all sorts of nonsense chemicals, and it's pseudo food. Really, it mimics real food, but it doesn't have the nutritional value that we need to truly nourish our body. Instead, when we eat it, it often leaves us feeling sluggish and drained. And consequently, if you really want to seriously think about how can I maintain energy and my motivation, you need to start taking a look at what food you consume. And you need to start prioritizing real, whole and nutrient dense food, choosing fresh whole foods rather than, processed bullshit or fast food and all that sort of food, which isn't really food. It's just an addictive object, pretty much. So really ask yourself, of the food that you eat currently, does it energize you, or does it just leave you feel sluggish, tired, bloated, and all that sort of stuff? All these bodily signals, they are your body telling you what you're doing is right, and whether what you're doing is not right. You need to really pay attention to that. Now, another important aspect of staying motivated and having sort of high energy levels is the level of movement that you incorporate into your day. Our bodies, they are designed to move, but many of us, we lead sedentary lives. We sit at our desks all the time and we stare at screens. And when we don't move, we become stagnant, really, like both physically and mentally. And this is why exercise is a great way to really challenge your body and strengthen your energy system. And it's not about aesthetics. It's not about looking better. It's about feeling better and feeling more energized and alive. Exercise, it improves these aspects. It improves your mental and your physical health, which of course, the mental and the physical, they're deeply interconnected. And when we are able to, weather the stresses of exercise, to push through feeling sort of tired and fatigued and challenged, this improves your mental resilience, your mental ability to face and overcome challenges. And now a kind of a final aspect I want to talk about with regards to our motivation and our energy is really the mindful component of looking at how am I currently expending my energy. Am I engaging in meaningful activities, or am I involved in sort of trivial and mindless scrolling or just distractions? These high dopamine addictive kind of activities. You need to look at, of all the things that I do in a day, what parts of that are kind of just, I'm just going through the motions, and what parts of my day am I actually engaged in truly meaningful work, truly meaningful activities that I actually enjoy and feel like it gets me into a sense of flow. When we look at the activities which we do to distract ourselves, and we kind of just do them because they're comfortable and easy, they don't really energize us. They zap our energy. We kind of just feel a bit meh. If you just scroll aimlessly on Instagram or TikTok or whatever for an hour, do you feel better after doing that? And yeah, so I think I mean this to just point people's attention to the way they're spending their time currently. Take attention towards the activities, even your relationships, the people that you surround yourselves with. Do they align with you? Do they make you feel energized? Do they drain you? You need to question which of your activities, your relationships, which of them truly align with your highest values, and which of them are you kind of, they're not really aligning with that aspect of you. You need to really sort of look within to assess, what are your highest values fundamentally, first and foremost. And then you need to ask the second question, which is, which of my activities are in alignment with that, and which of them are stuff that I should cut off or remove. I think as well, like many people, they struggle with motivation because they're working towards things, or they're working jobs which don't really ignite their passion. And yeah, I mean, most people's jobs, they don't care about it. They're just doing it to survive, pretty much. And this doesn't really satiate their soul, doesn't satiate their deeper meaning systems. When you are, for example, pursuing work which you feel called to do, a kind of work which you internally select, and it's a kind of work which gives you meaning and fulfillment, your motivation to do this will become effortless. It becomes a natural byproduct of doing what you love. And so an important consideration, particularly for motivation, is the whole, aspect of finding what truly drives you and finding what truly excites you. And when you can find that, you will find that you will almost just inherently unlock a kind of lasting motivation and sense of resilience to pursue that. When you find out what it is, the motivation just naturally arises because you are moving in alignment with who you are. So yeah, to sort of conclude all the sort of stuff that I've talked about how motivation, it depends on sleep, it depends on food, it depends on nearly flipped off the camera. It depends on movement, exercise, sort of getting your body, testing your body, energizing it by moving it. And also the mindfulness aspect of, putting your energy in things that you find meaningful, and then moving that mindful aspect towards finding what you feel called to do, finding what work is really you, you know, and not just distracting yourself, not just doing stuff which you think other people deem normal, this is your life at the end of the day. And you know are you living in your story, or are you living in someone else's story? And yeah, when you really sort of seriously consider these different aspects of building a life, they will, when you can master it, when you can really cultivate and improve it, you will find yourself just welling up with more drive, welling up with more motivation, more kind of vigor and zest for life. But I'll leave that at that. Like, subscribe, all that jazz. Bye bye.